All right. Hi, Shannon. Thanks for joining me. Please tell me about like how you were introduced to planning and what's your journey been
So with me for planning, man, I'd have to say it started with my mom. My mom worked in the office. She used to work for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So, of course, working for a huge government office, they always had all these notebooks and planners and supplies there that she would just have extras of, and she'd bring them home. So I would just start doodling in notebooks and planning, whatever a 6-year-old would be planning in planners. And this was almost like 20 some years ago. I'm like dating myself now, 20 some years ago. But it started with her. Like she would always, my mother had like the prettiest handwriting. So every notebook and every planner I had, I wanted to write perfect like her. So that's where it really started. It really got heavy more so towards high school and college for me, but I didn't get into customized planning until 2015.
like?
And I remember that specifically because I was working at a school and our power went out. So we didn't know when the power was going to come back on. So a coworker of mine said, "Hey, let's go to Michael's." We went to Michael's, and that's when she introduced me to the Happy Planner. And we came back to work, and another coworker said, "Oh my God, you guys got planners too?" She pulled out her huge bag full of planner stuff, and I'm like, "What is this?" So power still wasn't back on. We sat in the office, everybody pulled out all their planner stuff, and our boss came walking by, and she was like, "What are y'all doing?" And we were like, "Well, since we can't work, we're planning." And lo and behold, she was into planners. So it was just like this snowball effect. And I started, watching videos, and I'm all about productivity and things like that. So I started watching videos, and I started looking on YouTube and following different people on Instagram. And it just became this whole thing. And I don't want to say obsessed with it, but it became a whole new way for me to be productive at work and at home. And then all my friends started asking me, "Hey, can you set my planner up? And can you do this? And can you do that for me? Can you print this off for me? Can you cut this for me?" And then it became a business because my husband was kind of getting irritated because all the stuff that I would bring home from other people and even helping my students, he would say, "You need to make this a business." He said, "Because all the stuff that you're doing," he said, "this is time that you could be getting paid for it." So it became a business. And now I have this amazing company called A Journey in Becoming, where I not only do career development, I also do planner development or planner interior designing, where I help people customize their own planners. So
Yes,
that's where it got started.
yes, and I will leave all of Shannon's information to her businesses and things like that in the description. And it's more than just putting together planners. She's speeding
Yeah,
it a little bit. She's got like
it's a
she
whole
actually gets
process.
into like what do you do in your life in order to figure out
Yeah,
what you need. I know we're gonna connect it with school and being a student and things like that later on, but planner, once you really get into it, it's more than just writing something down on a piece of paper.
yes.
What I'm finding out, because I had this planner all set up for school to start, and I'm not even using it because it's not helping me in the way that I thought I needed to be helped. Like it was making me more anxious actually. But
Yeah.
I'll talk about that a little later. Um, but yes, I will leave all her information down below. Now, for me, planning, I was introduced to planning in elementary school. I remember they
Mhm.
always gave us a planner every year. And then after that, I think in high school, I would get Victoria's Secret or Pink. They used to have a planner that you can purchase around school time in August. And I remember always having that planner every year. But I remember having a planner in college. Of course, I don't think I would have been able to go 4 years in college without writing anything down. But I
Yeah.
didn't really get into what do you want to call it, like decorative planning or anything like that, like really investing into a planner and not just getting, you know, a $4.99 one or something that
Right.
like decorated with stickers and color pencils. Like really invested my time into probably around 2014. My first planner was Erin Condren. That's when I found Erin Condren.
Oh yeah.
So I had all the stickers and things at a time, and I think I was introduced to Happy Planner maybe. Oh, that was 2017. I don't know if I said 2007. 2017, and I think I was introduced to Happy Planner a couple of years after that because I figured I could customize it. You know, I can put in there what I wanted to put in there, and I was still using my stickers. I was watching people on YouTube and Instagram and things like that. I think that's where my Instagram kind of stemmed from because I didn't think my friends and family wanted to see me decorate my planner. So I kind of made a separate Instagram, and that's where it kind of stemmed from. And then it's like a student planning. I don't know. It's a bunch of stuff right now, but that's where my separate Instagram came from because I didn't think people wanted to see that. And now I'm more into, I don't want to say minimalism. I think that word is being overused, but looking more into what actually works for me because it's like my personal assistant. And
it's funny that you say that. That's what I say to my clients. I'm like, I need your planner to be your personal assistant. Like, she has to be your best. He, whoever you want to deem your planner as, has to be your best friend.
Yes, it definitely tells me what to do and when to do it. And if I don't put that information in there, I am definitely lost.
Yes.
So yeah, that's where my little planner story went.
It's funny though that you say that because when you say Erin Condren, I'm like, oh yeah, I did. I mean, oh my God, I've done Erin Condren. I've done simplified planners. I've done I've moved into A5. I was not an A5 person. I was so against it. I'm like, I refuse. I don't see what everybody's deal is about this A5 plan. Like I'm disbound. I'm loyal. I'm never doing it. And now I have two A5 planners. So I mean, it turns into this thing. And like you said, I do think the word minimalist does get, thrown around a little bit too much. Even I use it a little too much. I think it's more so like it's just customization. I used to love the stickers. I didn't realize I didn't like using them though. I just like to look at them. So when I would put them in my planner, I'm like, okay, I don't like this. I end up taking them off. And I'm not a sticker person. I mean, like you have to really find out what works for you. And unfortunately, well, I'm not going to say unfortunately, but fortunately / unfortunately, you kind of have to buy it to try it kind of thing. And I think that's when my husband was like, okay, you need to do a business because this is costing us too much money. So you have to kind of go through it. I had the super bright, fun planners. And then I realized, okay, this is too bright. I don't like this.
Yeah.
My husband even said, I don't even know why you keep buying these super bright, pink and yellow and blue planners. He's like, you don't like colors. Like, have you seen your wardrobe? Like, you don't like it. So why do you? And I'm like, yes, I do. Like, I'm a girl. I'm a grown woman, but I'm like, I'm a girl. I love colors. I mean, it's pink and purple. I love it. And as I thought about it, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is just getting to be too much. It's too bright. When I go to work, it's professional, and I'm like, okay, I gotta like cut the coloring, and stuff out. But I still want it to look, nice and, attractive. And that's another thing that I say to my clients. If your planner does not look attractive and beautiful to you, you're not going to use it. I ask them all the time, how many of us have purchased the planners from Office Max, the Mead, like the daily, weekly? Everybody has, and we don't use those. I think what I do love though, and it's something that you said about when you got a planner in elementary school, that's something that is just now happening because I didn't get planners in elementary school. My son got one. I thought that was the coolest thing ever when he came home from kindergarten 3 years ago with a planner. I'm like, man, I wish I got a planner when I was in kindergarten. When you said it, I'm like, that is so unfair. Like, how is it that it's like I wanted one, and it was the coolest thing. But you really have to know yourself. It's having a planner is so much deeper than just having this huge thing right here.
Yes, it is.
It's knowing who you are. If you don't know yourself, you're not going to know what's going to work for you.
So getting into knowing yourself and knowing how things work for you, can you describe your system right now? Like, even if it's paper and electronic, like your complete system. Can you give us a description?
So I have, and I'm over here looking at at my stuff that's sitting over here. So I'll start with electronic first because that's the easiest one. I utilize the system called Todoist, which is amazing. They have a free, I guess, version of it that you can use. And then they also have the premium. That's only $4 a month. It's totally worth the $4. It really is. My business partner and I, you can actually use it with other people. So when my business partner and I have projects or clients that we're working with, we can share projects, we can share tasks, we can put reminders and notes and send it to each other back and forth, which is amazing. We can also do to-do lists. You can do projects in Todoist. It's an amazing system. So that's what I use electronically. I also use OneNote. OneNote is also like my other planner because I put everything in OneNote. Just like I have like 4 or 5 planners, I have 4 or 5 notebooks in my OneNote that's for different things. And it's an amazing system. I also use my Google Calendar, for electronic purposes. I have an Outlook. So I sync my Outlook and my Outlook and my Google Calendar have the same things on them, but because of my business has my Outlook email, I try to utilize that one a little bit more. So I have the Google Calendar, I have Outlook, I use Todoist, and I use OneNote. Those are all of my electronic planning and note-taking systems. Now, as far as my analog systems, I'm actually going to start with the easiest one, which is this little beauty that I just came up with. I keep this one in my purse. So before I would try to carry this giant one here with me, and my bag got heavy, and I have 2 small kids, so I'm still in the mindset of I can move like I did when I didn't have my kids, but I can't. And I realized that when it's too late, when I'm like out traveling with them and I have my 2-year-old, my 7-year-old, and I'm trying to get my bag and their stuff is just too much. So I created this little notebook. It's disc-bound. It's the mini. I know we say the mini Happy Planner because Happy Planner kind of started the disc-bound system, but it's a mini or the 7 ring disc-bound system, and it's literally just filled with cloth and paper dashboards. And it also has some to-do sheets inside of it where I can just jot down quick to-do stuff that I need to do when I get home or while I'm out. I also have Jane's Agenda's Cornell-style note sheets in here. And of course, the most important thing, I have a calendar in here also from Jane's Agenda. The calendar part I don't really use much. It's just so I can kind of figure out what day, or if I have something going on. So I kind of write down just quick things, like if I have a doctor's appointment or if I have a client meeting. So that way while I'm out, at least I know what my schedule is while I'm at home or while I'm out and about. So I use this just for on the go. I also created, because I was getting lazy with my finances, I have this Filofax, which is actually my entire financial planner. Sure. And I know inside of our planners, we have a financial section that we either put in there or we create, but I felt it was important to me and to my family and to my business to treat my finances like I do my everyday planning system. So I came up with this amazing system here, and inside I found this awesome company on Etsy, because that's another part of my business. I research different planner companies, and whether it's printables or, you know, companies like Infinite Lotus or Element Paper Co. Cloth and Paper. It's called Yours Truly, and it's these simple planners. Is the name of the company, but the actual line is called Yours Truly. They have two amazing bundles. One is a financial bundle for your business. That thing is amazing. And I believe it's like $15 on Etsy. And then they have a month, not a monthly, but they have a home financial bundle, which is also amazing. And that one I think is maybe $10 on Etsy, but I utilize that whole system in here.
Okay.
So this is where all of my finances are.
Okay.
So as far as my day-to-day planner, and I'll go over my rationale for having so many too, because this was not me. Like I went from having one planner to having many planners, back to having many. This one here is my lifeline. This is the bestie. This is the personal assistant right here. This one here is the go-to. So me and her we like this every day. This one has in the very front of it, I have a family section, because even though this one is my professional development planner, and Brittany, you can attest to this because you're in a sorority too, you have a business, you're in school, it's a lot. You know, we have some of the same things, you know, that we do. And I still needed, even though I'm a mom and I'm a wife, I still have to have family stuff with me. So I have a very, very small section in the front where I utilize just a monthly calendar, and I put down all the family stuff in it. And then the rest of my planner is set up for business. So that's what this one here is. And then I also have a financial section that deals with only expenses. And I do have a listing of all of my personal bills, so I can still keep up with that stuff, because this is the one that I'm in all day, every day.
Okay.
But this one here, the financial one, this is where I do all of my heavy lifting for finances.
Okay.
So whether I'm doing debt, I'm tracking stuff, all that goes in there. Everything else goes in this one here. Okay. And I love her to death. I think I finally found the right inserts. Right now, I'm so in love with Infinite Lotus. It's not even funny, just the minimalist. I mean, it's just so simple. I love it. And I use cloth and paper for the family.
Okay.
So that's what I do for that. And school, because, you know, the whole purpose of this is helping people with, you know, school and figuring that stuff out too. I did not want to have another planner. I didn't even want this one. I refused. I went for months without this one, and it was just getting to be too much. So because my business is now growing, and I'm doing things like this recording, you know, with you and these collaborations, I did not want to have all of that in my main planner, because she started getting chunky. Yeah. I mean, she started getting really fat to the point where you couldn't even see the closure of my rings. Like, that's just how fat it was bad. I'm like, one day I was like, oh my God. It was just crazy. I was actually creating a planner system for a client, and hers was super chunky. She's like, I want my planner system to be chunky like yours. And I was like, okay, yeah, this isn't working. I was like, I can't even close your A5. So when I looked at hers, I looked at mine. I'm like, okay, mine's getting a little fat too. So I had to take out all of my meeting notes, and I had to take out all of my school stuff and move it into a different system, because it was just starting to get to be too much. And I do suffer from anxiety, and I'm very open about that and very transparent about it. And having everything in one location is too much. At the same time, having too many systems is also too much. So I have to keep everything contained. Yes. And that's where that whole knowing you really comes into play. You got to find that balance. So while these 4 look like it's a lot, and I'm going to show you the last one, it's not really a lot, because like I said, this one is just honestly just a notebook with calendar pages in it. It's just a notebook. So if I use it, cool. If I don't, I don't. Who cares? It's a notebook. You know, this one is all finances. Yeah. So I only pull this one out maybe once or twice a month, and I really do all of my, you know, heavy lifting. Mm-hmm. I go back months and retrack everything. So I'm not even in this one all the way. And it's not even, you know, it's not even a super thick, you know, planner. It's literally all finances. Like I said, this chunky sister here, this homegirl here, this is life right here. Yeah. You know, we try to keep her slim, you know, but this is life. You know, this is homegirl right here. But this one here,
oh yeah,
super lovely big one here is all for projects.
Okay.
This is only meetings, and it's more of a notebook than it is a planner.
Okay.
And that's a lot. That's the thing too, is I think we get caught up in the planner, meaning like the dailies, the weeklies, the calendars, versus creating a system that you need. Mm-hmm. I needed a project, you know, notebook planner type of situation. Mm-hmm. So that's what this is. I have meeting notes in here. I do my blog content development in here. I do my projects in here. And I'm on academic leave right now from school. I'll be back in January to finish my PhD program. But I know I was going to need something. And I laughed when you said, you know, you set up a planner for school and it didn't work out. It made me pause, like, okay, you know what? Because I've been like searching, like, okay, I'm going to be starting school in January. I need to find a planner system. And when you said that, I'm like, okay, yeah, now how about we just wait?
It didn't.
Because that's me. I'm shopping now for something I'm not using until January. Yeah. But what I did was I purchased the cloth and paper, the new 2021 daily. And these things look really amazing. They have the daily. I'm not sure if you ever used their daily pages before. Mm. They were all on one page. So now it's almost like a week on 2 pages.
Okay.
Or a week on 4 pages. So, you know, you have daily areas. Okay. And everything's dated. So I can do quick jot downs for work. Okay. And then for school deadlines, I use the calendar portion of it. Okay. And I just write when I have discussions due, when I have projects due. And then I have some Cornell style note pages in the very back for school. Okay. Where I can take notes if I need to. Because sometimes I don't, you know, sometimes you don't need a notebook, you know, depending on the class. But, you know, it's good to have them there in case you need them, you know. So that's how I started really looking at my systems and trying to figure out what I needed. My planner systems, they do help with my anxiety. Mm-hmm. You know, people have planners for, you know, scriptures. They have planners for gratitude. They have wellness planners. They have them for school. They have them for work. They have them, honestly, just to put stickers in them. Mm-hmm. They have memory plans because that's what helps, you know, people. So, you know, like me having my system, while it may seem like it's a lot, they have their specific purposes. Mm-hmm. And no, I'm not sitting around all day with each one of these just out. For the most part, you know, me and sister girl here are always together. I'm trying to get in the habit of using this one, mm-hmm. you know, because I put my business ideas in here. Mm-hmm. So I try to keep this one near me. But the other 2, I pull out the financial planner here and there. Mm-hmm. I pull out the little one. That one actually stays in my purse. I don't even take that out of my purse because there's no point. I use it for when I'm out the house. Okay. Now what I would do is I do go back and I put the things down for the months, mm-hmm. just so that way, and I'll kind of like give you a glimpse of it, just so that way I'll keep up with what's going on and I'm not, you know, out running errands or doing doctor's appointments and saying, yeah, we can come to the doctor's office on the 25th and I got 15 things for the 25th. So this is all I do.
Okay.
I just put it down in the calendar portion and that's it.
Okay.
And then, but like I said, this stays in my purse. I take this out maybe once or twice a month just to make sure that I have everything there. Okay. Other than that, we don't see this little one until we're out the house.
Okay.
You know, but you have to really know yourself.
Yeah.
And you got to make it fun too.
Yeah.
You got to make it fun. You have to, because if not, it's going to be a waste. And it's going to be very annoying. It's going to be overwhelming. It's going to give you anxiety.
Yeah.
Just being honest, it will. And I think that's why I created my company, because I had such a hard time when I introduced my PhD program into my life.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it was heavier and it's more. And I remember when you and I first met, you were, applying for the different schools and stuff. And I'm like, you got this, you got this. And everybody's looking at me like, you're so positive. And I'm like, yeah, I'm over here like telling you, you got it, helping myself. Like, you got it too. It's okay. So you have to really know yourself.
Yes.
And I think because I've switched from disc-bound to A5, I'm now transitioning to where I'm figuring out which A5 inserts work best for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm realizing I cannot put too much in my planner.
Mm-hmm.
I was one that I'll put like maybe a whole quarter in my planner. And granted, that's only 3 months. That's too much for me.
Okay.
So I stick with 2 months.
Okay.
Because it is too overwhelming.
Okay.
And with my electronic system, because honestly, while I love this one here and I love this one here, I'm not about to be sitting up at night with these two in my bed, turning on lights, writing in here. So guess what I do? I pull out my phone.
Yeah.
And I pull out Todoist and I jot down my stuff in Todoist. My husband, who's also my business partner, he works the opposite shift as me. So while I'm up and I get a great idea at 3 a.m, I can put it in Todoist. He's going to get it because he's at work.
Mm-hmm.
Or my OneNote, I jot down a list of things to do. And I then take that stuff and I transfer it into my planner. That's the thing you got to remember to do. You got to transfer. You can't just leave it there. You got to transfer it. Yeah. Because you're more likely to lose your phone than you are this huge thing right here. So if you lose that phone, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
But if you have a backup system, or if you have systems in place that work together, then they help. OneNote is through Microsoft, so I have a Microsoft 365. So Lord forbid I lose my phone or my laptop crashes. Guess what? If I log into Microsoft 365, my stuff is there.
Yeah.
Todoist is not only an app for your phone, it's also a downloadable software for your laptop too.
Okay.
So everything you put on your phone, it automatically transfers it to the Todoist on your desktop too.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm getting a little bit more out of what looks pretty and more into what's working for me. And that was another reason why me and you connected, because I was like, okay, I'm a little bit older. I'm going back into a professional program, which is going to consume all of my life. And I was just looking for people that had as much going on as I did to see how they were managing it all, because I could not figure it out. And so now, well, the planner that I'll just go through everything.
What do you have? What's over there on your desk? Because I didn't open up to my my madhouse over here. What do you have? Because I have never seen your stack. I've always seen like one planner.
I know my stack is small because I'm in the process of revamping. And I think I found something that I like, but it's not set up just yet because I didn't want to go out and buy a bunch of stuff like I did before. So I'm just trying things out right now. But 2 things that have not changed are my phone and my iPad.
Okay.
My iPad is basically my best friend. She's just like a bigger extension of my phone because the screen is bigger, but on my phone, I definitely utilize Google Calendar. I definitely use my Notes app and is it called Reminders? I have iPhone. So
the reminder, yeah.
Reminders. So whatever my phone tells me to do, when it tells me to do it, that's what I'm doing. So on my Google Calendar, everything is there. Everything is color coded. In Google, you can make different calendars. So I do have like school, and then I have life, and then I have like my podcast things. Different.
I like how you said life.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to get one. So I had to make a calendar for it. Then I have one I share with my boyfriend. So I like that you can have something together but separate, because you can turn those
Yeah.
calendars off and just
Yeah.
see life at the time, or just see school or something like that. And like my school calendar, I share with my mom, so she knows like the week before exams, I'm not available to do anything. And then she knows when I have exams, and same with my boyfriend, like we have our bills on there and things like that. So we can both see things. And I don't know. I'm just a stickler for automation and a good system, because I just get so excited. I don't know, when things just run smoothly and I don't have to remember and I set it in place one time, it just warms my little heart.
It's
But
like, this is what it's adulthood. It's like yes.
I know. And so another thing that I use a lot is Notion. It is an application. It's kind of overwhelming at first, because you can basically, it's a database where you can basically make any template, anything.
Okay.
And from my, well, let me back up a little bit. From my notes app, it's basically my brain dump. And now on Apple, they have where you can make sections and make little folders. And it just warms my little heart, because I'm like, oh, I can like code this to, okay, this is my school stuff, and this is my nonprofit stuff, and it's in little folders. And now I found out that you can tag people to it. So I was like,
Oh, nice.
hey. And that's the same with the to-do app. Like you can put a date on it if you want to. You can put little sections. So I have a section for life, and I have a section for my nonprofit and my blog, and then I have a section for school. And you can put reminders. So remind me on this day or whatever that I'm supposed to do this. And usually I use that for, like, today is Sunday. It reminded me to clear all my email. So I do try to do that every Sunday and read all my email and things like that. So you could do reoccurring events on that. And then that's just my like electronic system. And going back to Notion, like I have calendars on there, but I use it more for more in detail notes. Like I write all my scripts for my podcast in there.
Gotcha.
I have like all of my templates for my emails. Like I'm a big stickler for it. After I sit down and think about something, I don't want to have to keep doing this. And I learned that with the podcast, like sending out these emails, I send kind of the same email to everybody to invite them for an interview. So I'm just going to put a template, like, put a template, and I could change the name and change the things depending on who I'm interviewing. But it's already typed up. I don't have to sit here and think about it again. And that was just, it kind of freed up my time, because I'm like, I could just copy and paste this over here. And the same with like the descriptions for the podcast and things like that. It's just copy and paste. And also I have like a calendar in there, so I can see who I'm interviewing, what the topic is, and do I want to change it around. Even though I've interviewed them, I don't have to publish it just yet, because if something goes more smoothly with what the topic is, then I can move it around. So that's that. And also in Notion, you can do just depending on your templates, you can set it for a template will automatically pop up if I go into a certain section. So if I'm doing my script, it already has my intro, because I kind of want to say the same intro, and then I could just go ahead and put the questions down depending on who I'm interviewing. I was like, this is great. I love it.
Nice. And now is that this for Android and for Apple, or is that just
you can use it for anything?
Oh, girl, hold on, let me get a pen.
Any system. I might have to show you how to do it. Like I found because it's blank. It's a blank slate, and you can make any kind of notes, any kind of templates. Like
you said it's called Notion?
Yes, Notion.
Right. See, look, writing it down in my pen.
You can make any kind of template, so it kind of seems overwhelming at first, but I just looked at YouTube videos. And some people have templates that they'll share. So I've just been starting off with those. And then when I have a little bit more time, I will try to play around with, I see his template, but that's just not quite what I want. So I'll take away and add and do things like that. But yes, I love it. Yes, and it's on any platform. So those are electronic.
Awesome.
And for paper, so I started off with this big baby. And I know we're saying like,
why do we have the same one?
I love this cover. I don't know. I always
These
go back
things
to
are
this
hard to
cover.
find now. You can't
I
find them.
know, but I keep going back to this cover no matter what. I just love it. I know we're saying like planner jargon right now, and this is eventually going to end up to like student organization and how we keep up with school. We're both students. We both have business,
Yes.
things like that. So if you guys want me to go a little bit more into planner jargon systems and things like that, I can in the later episode. Just leave it down in the comments and I'll definitely be happy to do that. I'll maybe have Shannon with me.
That'd be a good video. Do
Yes.
planner jargon.
So this baby it's not really chunky, but it holds everything. Right now it just holds like a monthly calendar. It holds a yearly calendar. For some reason my brain can't work without knowing what's going on for the rest of the year. So I do have like a yearly overview. And then I just have the months on 2 pages, and then I have a calendar. Did I take it out? Oh, I must have took it out for August. But then I just have like a weekly calendar. Now, what I was just like a month on 2 pages.
Yeah, cool. Yep. I use that for the family because that's all they need.
And I was using, let me try to find a blank one. So initially, I was using something like this. And it's hourly. So I thought this would be good for school because I can see all of my appointments and I can see where I'll have little pockets of time.
Right.
And it has a to-do list at the bottom. So I suffer with anxiety as well, and it was giving me anxiety because I just saw everything at the same time.
Yes.
And I had my to-do list and say I didn't finish Monday's to-do list, and I was already looking at Tuesday's to-do list and it was full, and I'm like, so now I gotta add this stuff for Monday on to Tuesday, and I have a deadline on Wednesday. I don't think this is all gonna get done.
Right.
So I never thought I would be a daily planner person, but I plan daily now. And it is working out for me right now. And I told you this before, I really wanted to use my half letter, but I was intimidated of using, like, filling out a whole planner. Like, some planners come put together and some planners you to put together. And I was definitely intimidated by putting something together. So I pulled out my cover that I've had for a while and just put some rings on it. And I've been using like free printables that I've been finding from people. Let me see if I can find a blank one. Well, this is one from the other day. And every night I sit down and I just do my to-do list and I put down my appointments. And it has a little extra note section where I can do if I have things for my nonprofit or things for I need to send out an email for my podcast and stuff like that. And it also has a to-do list section where I can write out what assignments do I need to do today and what's coming up.
Gotcha.
And also I have like this week overview. So this just lets me know, like, do I have an appointment coming up? Do I have anything due? Because in my school calendar, it puts on there when it's due. It could be available on Monday, but it's not due to Sunday. I just know when it's available, so I can plan out my week. So on this calendar, I write out when it's available, and I check everything off. And this is my first full week of using this system, and I've done everything that I was supposed to do. So,
that is awesome.
Yeah. So
and you found what works best for you.
Definitely. So that's that, because I was like, I really don't want to put a planner together. I did find, is it Plum Planner? I think they had a daily, but their note section, and then I didn't want to create a template myself. Like I wanted something that showed the schedule, and I think that's what I saw on cloth and paper, but I didn't want the schedule to be that big. I just wanted something to let me know what time my appointment was. And then I wanted the rest to be notes because I wanted to put down what I have to do. And also I want to kind of see what is due tomorrow as well. A little bit foreshadowing, but with that week on 2 pages, I think it was too much foreshadowing for my brain, because I'm like, oh my God, I have all of this. I have to do this tomorrow, and today's
And
not going very well.
oh
So
my God, yes, I so get that. Plum. Now, one good thing about Plum paper is that you do not have to bind the
yeah,
system,
yeah,
and I love that. So it's like, okay, cool. If I ever wanted to get that, then I can just pick my layout, and then they'll send it to me, and then it'll already be unpunched, and then I can just punch it myself and pop it into like my discount system or into my A5.
yeah.
You know,
And that's
and
what I was finding with, I think that's how I kind of got out of Erin Condren, because it's a binded system. And
yeah.
I needed more notes and things like that. Like, you don't have to always go with something that somebody provides you with, especially like if you have the A5 with the binder system or the disc system. You can kind of create it on your own. It could be a little bit overwhelming, but like for this planner, before school started, I kind of wanted everything in one. So it does have like my finances in here, and it does have notes section and a project section as well, even though I don't use it right now. But I know I'm moving into my own apartment in January, so I know I'm gonna have to start taking care of these things
Right,
on my own.
right.
So I have it all together in this planner. I don't think this planner is going to go anywhere. I just don't think I'll be using it day to day like I would normally. This is kind of just going to be an overview of everything.
Right.
In this other smaller planner, it would just be my day to day. I just sit it out on my desk, and it tells me how my day goes. And I don't think, like, I have a lot of people asking me questions on Instagram about planners and things like that. Like, I'm finding that you really have to know what you want and what works for your system. Because I found myself trying to look on Instagram for people that kind of had, like, I'm not good at color either. Color confuses me. So I was looking for it, and my mom was like, "Your planner's so plain." I said, I don't really like all that color. It
Yeah,
could be,
it's distracting.
it can be color. Like, I use like a gray or a brown highlighter or something like that. And I use
Right.
black and blue pens, but like pinks and blues. And I just don't like yellow
Can't do it.
highlighters. The
You can't do
yellows,
it.
it really distracts me. So
Yeah.
I use like muted colors, and I was going on Instagram. I was getting frustrated because I was looking for people that had as much going on that I had going on with a simple planning system, and I couldn't find it. And I was like, you know what? You have to take the information you get from other people and try to apply it to your own life,
Yeah.
because you're not going to find anybody that has 10 classes in a nonprofit, because who would do that?
Right, exactly. Like, one person would be, you know, a mom, a wife, you have a business, you need to get into PhD, and like,
Yeah.
who does that? Like, seriously. Like, I'm pretty sure you get this too. When I tell people everything that I'm doing, they're like, and you still want to do more? And I'm like, I'm not really doing a lot now. And like, what do you mean? You know,
Yes,
so
and I was definitely telling my friend earlier, I was like, I don't know how to do one thing, because my brain is just like, okay, well, what's next? And okay, well, what's
right. Like,
next?
you just have
And
to keep going.
yeah, so you definitely have to find the system that works for yourself. And so what tools do you find using now? Because it seems like you're pretty happy with the system that you have right now. What
I
do you
am. I
think?
hope it stays that way.
So what do you think contributes to that success? Like, you're fine in your business and your classes and things like that. What do you think contributes to that?
I really think it's me really taking time to figure out what I like. And not so much really what I like, is what I need.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, I used to keep at least 3 months in my planner. I can't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I've gone down to 2 months. I think another thing is really understanding that it's okay when things change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the system that I have now is not the system that I had maybe 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because 2 weeks ago, I may have been doing something different. come January, when I start school again, who knows what these systems are going to look like. I'm, praying to God they stay the same, because I really don't want to spend any more money. I don't want to print off anything else. I don't want to cut or hole punch anything else. I just want to just roll with what I have, So it's really being flexible. Like, you have to be flexible, because if you're not, and you're trying to force a system to work and it's not working, you're not going to use it and you're going to be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, Instagram is great for inspiration, but if you're constantly looking on Instagram to tell you what you need to do, you need to just stop using social media, because that's not what it's for. You really need to listen to yourself and figure out what you need. Like for me, I stumbled upon Jesse Plans, that's on Instagram. He's amazing. He just came out with his own inserts, and he's actually in school too.
I follow him as well.
He's amazing.
Planner in school, I click on it.
I mean, his system is gorgeous. Love his planning style. Love his system. He introduced me to Infinite Lotus. I went on their website and I was like, these inserts are so what I need, because it's just really plain and simple. And I love it. Having too much space really overwhelms me. I used to use their week on 2 pages, where one side was the week, as far as it had like Sunday through Saturday or Monday through Sunday, depending on which layout you had. And on the other side, it had these 2 huge sections that had where you could write down your to-do list for the week. That it was amazing at one point for me. But then it started getting to be too much, because I'm like, okay, I don't have that much stuff going on now. I'm more in a smoother rotation of things that's going on in my home life and, with work and things like that. So I don't need that much space. So then I went to their week on 1 page, and that's working for me. Another thing is not feeling like you have to use the entire insert or the entire planner. If you have a planner and you only use, like, for example, the week on 1 page, but you don't fill out the to-do list, okay, so what? You don't have to. I think sometimes we feel like we have to fill the entire planner up in order for us to feel like we're actually doing something, but we're not being productive.
Yeah.
And another thing that I actually forgot to mention, Skillshare.
Oh, yeah.
I stumbled upon Skillshare when I watched a Maddie Plans video. Skillshare is the bomb. One of their classes that you can watch is called Productivity. And then there's another one by Greg, and I have his book sitting right here. It's Essentialism, and I'm actually reading this book now, and it's by Greg McCone. It's The Discipline of Pursuing Less. His classes on Skillshare, I was like, oh my God, like the simplest stuff. It's like, duh, like why aren't we doing this stuff? And his whole philosophy is not being productive. It's not just about being productive. You're doing the work that's needed to be done. Because we can be productive all day, but are you really getting the things that you need to get done? So Skillshare has like an array of classes that you can take, and they have classes on productivity. Okay. For example, one of them that I took talked about utilizing the different systems, kind of like what we're talking about today. And the gentleman talked about making sure you clean out your emails. One thing though that he said, and it was like, yeah, duh, why don't we do that? He's like, if you don't need the email, why are you keeping it?
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to read it and you're done with it, delete it once you're done reading it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, duh. So I immediately picked up my phone. Brittany, I ran through my entire email. I deleted thousands of emails that day because they were just sitting there. I had marked them unread and I had read them, but I didn't delete them. So just simple stuff like that, but it's like you have to really know yourself. Having a planner and things like that, you have to craft it how you need it. And that's what I help my clients do. A lot of them, especially men, for example, when they think of planners, they're thinking of like literally a calendar, like a daily planner, like a daily, weekly. And I tell my male clients, when I'm first working with them, That's not what I'm talking about. You need that. We can put like a monthly in there. That's fine. But you need a planner. You need a system where you're putting down your ideas, where you're, keeping up with your finances, where, if you have projects that you need to work on, you're putting the ideas for your projects in there. What goals and ideas do you have for yourself? You're putting that stuff down. That's what I'm talking about. And when I explain it to them that way, they're like, oh, I do need one of those. Because I have, and they go down this whole list of things that they need to get done. And I'm like, yeah, we need to get you a planner set up.
Yes.
So I really sit down and I created this onboarding process.
Okay.
Where it asks these really deep questions. And, it's really so that we can figure out what works best. And that's what I've had to do for myself. I really had to sit down and say, okay, at this point in my life right now, not what I was doing last week or last month or what I may be doing next week or next month, right now, what do I need to make sure I'm productive and that I'm not wasting time? Yeah. So that's how I set up, my planner. I knew I needed to still have the family stuff in there, because when I look at things on Instagram, a lot of people that I follow, some of them don't have kids. Mm-hmm. Some of them don't have husbands, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I do. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I need to keep my family's day-to-day stuff with me, so that way I'm not forgetting appointments, or I'm not forgetting when my son has to turn in a virtual homework assignment. Yeah. Or when it's time to go to a doctor's appointment. So you do have to craft it for what you need right now. Yeah, definitely. That does not mean that you need to go out and buy all the inserts and everything and hoard them. Get rid of that stuff. Yeah. And speaking of that, a couple of friends of mine on Instagram, we have a page called Destash It. Mm-hmm. Where we are getting rid of all of the planner stuff that we bought that we're not using or that we've never used because it's just sitting in our office. So if anybody needs, and we're like begging you guys to please buy this stuff so we can get it out of our houses, please.
Okay, I will definitely leave a link to that in the description box if anybody is looking into getting into planning or already has a system.
Yes, it has everything on it. Pins, inserts. We just want this stuff gone. We just want it out, and it's very discounted, and it's including shipping. We just want it gone. Yeah. So.
Yeah, because your system evolves. Like I was saying, I had this, so I was like, okay, last semester, well, I wasn't in pharmacy school yet, but the hourly worked for me. Like I was doing in-person classes, so I knew where I needed to be at a certain time. And I'm like, this is great. We're going to get it for next semester because I'm sure I'll have a lot more going on since I'll be in more than one class. And it was just so overwhelming. And I'm like, yeah, I never thought my planner would overwhelm me.
Oh, it does.
It was so overwhelming. I'm like, because I found myself just having sticky notes everywhere, just writing down what I needed to do. Because I wouldn't even touch my planner because I'm like, nope, I'm not going to touch it because I don't want to look in there. I don't want to see what I have to do. So I'll just have sticky notes. So I'm like, maybe I need to look into daily planning. I've never been a daily planner, but I guess I never really had. I have always had a lot going on, but this is in detail. And so I guess what I want to say that contributes, I guess, to my success right now, my planner is working for me. Just taking the time to figure out what works for me. And I know everybody may not be a planner, but especially if you're a student and you're a little older, in which my audience is, I know you have a lot going on. Even if you don't have a business, you still have a life and you still have school. You may have a family and you still have school. Like everybody has more than one thing going on, and it just how your brain works depending on like how your system will work. You may just be one that be able to use it on your phone only, like the calendar on your phone. But I once something kind of downloads through my hand, from my brain through my hand to a piece of paper, I feel like it's gone.
It's accountability when you write it.
Yes, definitely.
And it's funny that you even say knowing how your brain works. Those are the exact words that I say to my clients. I say, I need to know how your brain works because we're going to put your brain on paper. Yeah. And they're like, what? Like literally, I need to know. I want to know everything. And
Definitely.
then we'll scale it back. I said, but I want to know exactly how your mind works, because that's what we're doing. Like we said before, we're creating your personal assistant.
Yes,
And
definitely.
the only way it works is if you use it.
Yeah,
We
definitely.
both have planners that are probably in the house that are not being touched and not being used. And it's hence why we had to do the dispatch page. Because if once you go on that page, Brittany, you're gonna be like, what the heck? Like, who bought all this stuff and just let it sit? We did. And there's 3 of us. So
Okay.
what's posted is from 2 of us right now.
Okay.
But you're absolutely right. We have to be able to know what works. But we have to make sure we hold ourselves accountable too.
Yes, definitely. That's why I think my baseline is my phone, because when I
Mm-hmm.
have ideas, I just write it down. But I make sure, excuse me, I go back to it. Like I put a reminder in my phone to tell me to go back to it and make sure you flesh out these ideas. And like recently I've been trying to get my nonprofit back up and running. So when I have these ideas, I'm like, man, I'm in class. I can't really do this right now. But it eases my mind to write it down and know that I
Yeah.
have it somewhere. And also with classes, I'm in 8 classes right now. So
Right.
I can't, it's very difficult from just having one class or just being in a couple of classes, and everybody wants something different from you. Everything is,
Wait, how many classes did you say? Did you say 8?
yes, I'm in 8. It's like undergrad all over again on steroids.
Right. I'm like, the last time I had 8 classes was undergrad.
I know, and when I started, I was like, man, I wish I had my undergrad brain, because I'm not sure how
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna say you too old for that, for 8 classes.
am.
That's true. One of my clients just started at Wayne State here in Michigan.
Uh-huh.
The poor baby we did her a planner, set up everything. She has 7 classes.
Yeah,
I looked at her like,
it's definitely different, because one class we don't really turn in anything, but you still need to practice because we have an exam. Other classes, they want you to turn in things. And I'm like, what I used to be able to do is go off the syllabus, and if they have like a schedule. Not all my classes have schedules. So I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. So I did break down, and I was scared to write in. Wasn't scared to write in my planner because I knew something was going to change, but I was scared to write in it because I didn't want to be like, okay, it's not working anymore. But I got all this writing across my planner and I can't change it. So I did break down, and I planned for the semester, even though I didn't want to. I had to sit down and plan for the semester. I put all my assignments down. I put all of my exams down, and that helped me like planning when I could do podcasts on weekends that I don't have exams coming up and things like that. I just had to sit down and get it all out my brain, because I think it was adding pressure that I had it in my brain, but I wasn't sure which way would help me get through it, if that makes any sense.
Right. No,
So
that makes total sense.
I had to sit down and plan anything, and that's why I keep this planner, because I had to sit down. I made a little key, and I had to sit down and write all the stuff down, even though I did not want to. I had to write everything down, and it's been helping. So now I know I'm gonna keep this planner, but now I know all I need is like a little desk calendar that has like the full year, so I can see an overview, and then I can make like my daily and weekly to-do list. But just finding those systems, and with my nonprofit, I'll just go in, I put little notes. I can't do anything about it right now, but in the process, like I'm going through assistant interviews next month, and every time I think of something, I just write down a question. I was like, oh, that'll be a good question for the interview. So I'm just going to write it down, and then I'll make it pretty and polished later, because for some reason, like yesterday was kind of a download day for me. I'm not sure what that is, but it's just like when I'm, I guess, at my highest creativity, and I'm just like, oh, I could do this, and oh, I could do that. Oh, I could do this.
Yeah, that's how I was. I don't know what it was yesterday. Me and my husband were literally, and it's funny because if you go to my Planner Journey and Becoming page, it's probably still up there. We were sitting in my office, and I was sitting at my table, and he was sitting at my desk, and we were working on stuff. And out of the blue, I looked at him and I was like, "You look like an intern." I was like, "I think I'm gonna call you Ted." So I put on my stories with our intern Ted, and he was like, "Why Ted?" And I'm like, "I don't know," but it was just like it was just there. But we were just having this whole creative rush, and we were actually doing stuff for the family. You know, my husband has a planner. My husband was a guy that refused to get a planner. I couldn't sell my husband a planner to save my life. He refused. He was the type of person that had 15 notebooks. And had everything in all the notebooks. And I'm like, "Sir, you know, we can fix this. Like, you can have one, system. And you can write everything in it." Finally, he broke down and he let me do it. He carries his planner around everywhere with him now. I had to give him a drawer where he has all his inserts. He has all his pens because we don't share ink pens because we would kill each other. So when I order ink pens, I have to order him the special ink pens too. He has his own sticky notes. We each have our own stuff. And we was literally sitting there and he was like, "Okay, what do you have for the week of the 25th? Or, what do you have for this week? Okay, let's jump to October." And I'm looking at him like, "Dude, we still got a whole nother week of September. Like, I'm not in October yet. Like, I'm not there yet." And he looked at me and I'm like, "Okay, fine. We can look at October." I'm like, "This is what I have." I only had like 3 or 4 things for October. I'm like, I don't have a lot. But the fact that we were sitting down and we're putting it in our planners, and that's what I love. Take that time to really sit down and put it in your planner. It only takes maybe an hour or two for you to sit down and write down everything that you need to write in your planner. And then you can go back to your, to your electronic system, because we do have our phones with us, and they're smaller so we can jot it down real quick. But take an hour or two a day. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're watching TV, we're home, more so now than ever. You can spare an hour to sit down and go over things with your spouse or with your parents. I mean, my mom and I do it. What's cute, and I didn't even know this, my mother, and it's funny because she's one of our business partners too. She has a baby planner. And it's so cute. I laugh when I talk about hers because she has like the mini display. It's so cute. It's so stinking cute. And she hates when I do that to her planner, but it's so cute. And she writes down the things, which I didn't know this when we have stuff. So when I talk to her on Monday, she has her planner out and she's writing down the stuff that we have going on over here for the week. And she just recently told me that she does that because she asked a question. He said, "Oh, well, don't you have this going on today?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like, how did you show? I wrote it in my planner." And I was like, "You're using it?" And she was like, "Oh God, here you go." I'm like, I'm like, it's so special because she just started using planners, like, because she's retired. So she started using them again, maybe a year or two ago.
Okay.
So for her, she's just, just making sure like what's going on with the family.
Okay, yeah.
Where's everybody at for the week? So that's what she uses her planner for.
Okay.
And I was just like, "Oh, Mom, like that's just so sweet of you. Like you're using the products, like you're using my service. Like I'm proud of you for that."
Yeah.
But just taking that time. An hour is only 60 minutes, people. It's not going to kill you. Sit down, get you a snack, get you some water, and just write down your life in your planner. Don't be scared to write in it.
Yeah.
It's a planner.
I've been telling my mom, I've been teaching her about, I can't even think of the term right now. Decision fatigue, because I learned about it and I'm like, this is something that I don't want to do. I really am. I thrive off animation and things going smoothly. It's kind of why I plan a little bit. And I just don't like to have to keep thinking, well, what are we eating today? Or what are we going to have for dinner today? Or what am I wearing? Or what do I have to do? Or something like that. So I try my best. It may seem a little, excessive, but I just like to have things move slowly. And when I have my planning time, that's when I plan it out. And then when, during the week, when I'm doing stuff, I just want to do it.
Right.
So I've been teaching people about decision fatigue and how if you just take a little time, and plan out things, then you won't have to worry about this.
Right.
It won't take you like 30 minutes to figure out something, and you could have been eating and done and on to your work. It's just,
Exactly.
especially when you have a whole lot going on, you don't want to take that much time out of your day figuring things out. So like meal planning, or planning out your week, or planning out your day the day before in the morning, it just gives you back so much time.
It does.
So another thing I want to ask you, I know your program is online, right?
Yes, Adler University is located in Chicago, downtown Chicago. Located right downtown Chicago. They have a online PhD program, and they actually just started this program. Was it 2020? So I'll maybe say maybe 3 years ago, because their master's degree students in the industrial and organizational psychology program wanted a PhD program in it.
Oh, okay.
So because Adler understood that, well, we know that everybody who is obtaining a PhD, they're older, not in the sense of age, but in the sense of they have family life, they have businesses, or they're working full-time, or they're teaching full-time, because a lot, they have master's degrees, they're running businesses. They understood that, they're busy. So they created this online community which runs just like a physical campus, and I love it. I can go to Chicago, and I can, before COVID, I can go to Chicago and, and go to the library and do research and, and hang out there, maybe spend a weekend, there doing work and, really be engulfed in my PhD program. But they created this online program that is also accredited by the American Psychology Association.
Okay.
Great, because that means I can do my testing here in Michigan. I can get my license. But it's amazing. I love the fact that they created that, and they are so aware of students having all these extra things.
Okay.
They are, and I love that. When my first semester, and I think I turned in like 3 posts late back to back, my professor emailed me and said, "Hey, is everything okay? What's going on? You turned in 3 posts late. Do we need to get resources over to you? What do we as in the university need to do to help you?"
Okay.
And I loved that.
Okay.
Because it's like, thank you for understanding that outside of this degree, I have other things going on.
Yeah.
But they help you plan out everything. You don't have to schedule your classes. They do your entire program outline for you. And even like how you say you print off your school, like you write down your school schedule for the whole semester. I don't even have to do that, which I love. They have it already for me. I just print it out and shrink it down to A5 size. And then they have it by the week. I print it out, pop it in my planner, and as I get done with assignments, I just cross them off. So they're very aware of how to plan and how to help their students be productive. And I absolutely love it.
That's good. And I feel like that's something that you have to look into when you're picking an institution.
Yes.
My school, definitely, they do that as well. Even though a lot of people are online, and I specifically picked the online option. My school is a brick and mortar as well, and they're having classes on campus at this time. And that is something I found in orientation, that a lot of the people that are doing the hybrid program, they're older and they have families and things like that. And they understand that they have a system where if your power goes out, we need you to fill out this form so we can make sure that we let everybody know what's going on, and we can help you in any way possible. And that was something that definitely attracted me to the school, because I'm an older student and I didn't necessarily want to live where the school is. And it just gave me the option of either I have to move my whole life and not go to school, but also having this program that's definitely accommodating to of your if you have a baby or if you get married and things like that. Like a lot of older, well, they call them upperclassmen. They
Right.
come and like, well, I had a baby and this is how I got through it. Like they just have different people that will come talk to you in different situations. Like you can do this. Like we're here to help you. And I know there are programs that are just like, well, you gotta start over.
You know, you got to figure it out. So.
We can't help you. So that's definitely a difference. And my program is online, but since they do function on campus as well, like we're on the same timetable, everything. So I do know that my system for class, even though I log into class live and everything like that, you can't just, I found that you can't just walk up to the teacher and ask them a question. You have to curate this professional email with words. You have to make sure your thoughts or the question is being clearly asked, because you can't go back and forth and make that exchange like you would in person. And I was like, this is, other than anything else, this is tough a little bit, because I have to make sure that I'm clearly stating what I want so they'll understand what I'm saying, even though I could always pick up the phone or something like that. But just doing things like that and having that option with everybody being online right now, that is definitely something that I found different from in-person classes, because I was doing in-person classes last semester before I started pharmacy school, and like my planning system was different. I didn't have to write down, well, I wrote down things, but I didn't have to write down and keep up with everything. Like,
and now you do.
Yes, and I found myself in Notion. They have like this table thing that you can just put everything out. At first I thought it was like a waste of time. I'm like, why am I writing all of these classes and all of these assignments and all of these test days? This is wasting my time. But as the semester continued, I was like, I really need this checklist, because I will find myself texting like, so what do we have to do today? Are you sure? Did we do that today?
Yes.
And
I love the fact that the online schooling, because Aller has 2 campuses. They have one in Vancouver, and then they have the main one in Chicago. So when COVID hit, because they had already, in my opinion, mastered the online, they moved both campuses online. It was just a stream. It was just like this smooth process. Because they already had the online, they already had the platforms, they already had, everything. So they was like, okay, COVID hit, guess what? Everybody's going online. And it was funny because we were getting these emails, and they were talking, they were sending them out to everyone, but they were saying, those of you that are already online, this not applies to you. So, and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, skip this email. I just delete it because it has nothing to do with me, but you do have to really sit down. You got to go through your week. You have to go through the syllabus. You really do it. And it helps to write that stuff out, because it's been proven, that when you write things down, you do remember them, better than just tossing it in your phone. You do remember it. And it also, like I said, for me, it's all about accountability. I wrote this down in my planner or in a notebook or whatever your planning system is. Therefore, I'm saying to myself, Shannon, you're going to do this. And if I wrote it down and I didn't do it, then it's like, well, girl, you just lied to yourself, or you got more stuff to do because you didn't do it.
Yeah, it was a lot, because on my little checklist, because you don't see anybody. Well, I don't see my classmates. Like my classmates are all over the United States. And one thing with my school, they were one of the first schools to have their professional program go online. I mean, we're not completely online. They do have a different system through Zoom. I know people were trying to figure out how to use Zoom, and I was like, I just log into class. I don't know.
Right. We have the same thing. We see our classmates because we actually have to meet with our entire class once every semester, and we have this full-on discussion.
So I
So
feel
it's
like that
nice.
is something that people, well, organizations should definitely start putting into like their system, organization system. And I think it's something, a skill that people need to have, because
Yes.
I've been talking to, like, just doing interviews and networking. They're like, our school is really having a hard time trying to get everything online. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, we've
Right, like, I
been
don't know what that's like,
they already
but
had a hybrid program, and that's what people are like, oh, you're just online right now. It's like, no, I'm online before and after COVID happened. Like, this is the program
right.
that I planned. They already had it, and it's going pretty well. I think it's like a couple of more schools that have an online pharmacy program. I mean, it's not completely online. I do have to go to campus sometimes to do the stuff I can't do online, but
Right.
and everything is online. Good thing is it's not like Zoom where I can see you and you can see me. We're just seeing them. And I'm like, oh, I don't have to get dressed.
Yeah, no, we see
Nobody
each
can
other. Everybody, yeah, no, we see each other. So I have to
okay.
send the kids away. I gotta sit, in a nice clear background. Yeah, no, we're seeing each other, and then I love it because
Uh-huh.
they want you to feel like you're still in an
Yeah.
on-campus traditional community. So I do love that.
Yeah.
It sucks because it's like, I gotta put on a nice shirt, or gotta make sure my hair's, done. And, I gotta make sure, the kids are away, but I do like that. I like the online schools that are really grasping this concept, are still making us students feel like we're still a part of the traditional community. I
Okay.
love that.
Okay. Yeah, I am finding, like, these past 2 days, because I've had podcasts and things to do, I had to get dressed. And I'm like, oh, well, this kind of normalizes things again, because I'm getting
Yeah.
dressed. And I do feel a little bit more pep in my step when I'm dressed, instead of just sitting around in my pajamas all day
Yeah.
going through work. So it is very helpful. And that's something that my professors and my counselors do say, like, go to school. Like, when
Yeah.
you're have class, you at school, there's, like, go to school. So that is definitely something that we should all take away from that.